Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing something a bit different, something tailored specifically for you, especially if you've got your eye on that customer success field engineer role at Adobe.
That's right.
We've actually got source material here, like actual interview questions, deep dives into Adobe's platforms. Basically a shortcut to getting you really prepped for this opportunity.
Yeah, the goal today is to give you a structured but, insightful look, cut through the noise. We want you to understand the challenges, the solutions within Adobe's world.
So you can really talk confidently about it.
Exactly. Articulate your expertise, your strategic thinking. That's what helps you stand out.
Okay, let's get into it then. This role, Customer Success Field Engineer at Adobe. It sounds pretty central.
Yeah.
What exactly does someone in that role do?
Fundamentally, it's about being client-facing. You're passionate about helping customers see and, importantly, quantify the value they get from Adobe solutions.
Quantify, okay.
Yeah, measure the impact. It needs solid technical knowledge, across the key Adobe products. Think AEP, Analytics, Target, Audience Manager.
The big ones.
Right, but it's not just tech. You combine that with deep strategic and analytical skills.
So it's more than just knowing how the software works. It's about the why for the business.
Absolutely. A huge part of the role is gathering and really understanding the client's business objectives.
What are they trying to achieve?
Precisely. And then advising them on how best to use Adobe's tools to meet those specific needs. This means you're analyzing, complex project issues, figuring out different solution options, and then working cross-functionally, collaborating with other teams to actually deliver recommendations that drive real business impact.
Okay, so what are the key traits then? Based on what Adobe seems to look for, what makes someone successful in this?
Well, beyond being seen as an authority in software solutions, you definitely need that deep technical knowledge of AEP and the data and insights stack.
Right.
Familiarity with core data concepts, data schemas, and definitely privacy and security concerns. That's huge.
Can't ignore that.
No way. But also strong executive presence, being able to influence people, translating those business needs into actual architecture and design.
Talking to different kinds of people.
Exactly. The sources mention 7+ years experience with integration tech and being able to explain complex technical stuff to both techies and, non-technical folks. It's really about being adaptable, self-motivated, a champion for the customer, basically.
Got it. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about the heart of many of these solutions, the Adobe Experience Platform, AET. What's its core purpose?
Yeah, AEP. Think of it as Adobe's cloud-based customer data platform. Its main job is to centralize and integrate customer data from all sorts of different places.
Bring it all together.
Bring it all together so businesses can create personalized, consistent experiences across, every channel and touch point.
How's it actually built to do that? To handle all that data and then enable those experiences? What's under the hood?
Well, the architecture is key. It's built to collect, process, and then activate customer data. You've got a data ingestion layer with native connectors.
So easy ways to get data in.
Right. Then a scalable data storage layer that includes a data lake for raw and structured data. And then the customer profile database, which is where it all comes together to create that single unified view of the customer.
The 360 view.
Exactly. And the identity graph is crucial here. It processes data coming in, connects identities.
Like recognizing me on my laptop and my phone.
Precisely. And very importantly, there's a robust data governance and privacy layer built in, making sure you're compliant from the get-go.
And what tools kind of sit on top of this foundation? What uses all this organized data?
So AEP supports several key application services. You've got the activation and delivery layer, sometimes called real-time CDP, for actually using the profiles to deliver personalized stuff.
Okay.
Then there's Adobe Journey Optimizer, AJO, for designing and managing those customer journeys.
Like welcome emails and things.
Yeah, but much more sophisticated real-time journeys. And finally, the data processing and analytics layer, which is Customer Journey Analytics, or CJA, that uses AI and ML to really dig into the customer data.
So it's a full loop. Collect, organize, analyze, activate.
That's the idea, a holistic approach.
Okay, now let's get practical. These are the kinds of things you might face in the role or get asked about in an interview. Say you need to design a data schema in AEP for a retail client.
Yeah.
They've got online data, offline store data. How do you approach unifying that?
Right. Good scenario. First thing that comes to mind is XDM, the Experience Data Model.
Adobe's standard schema.
Exactly. You'd start by identifying the key sources, CRM, POS systems, their website, maybe even loyalty program data. Then you map these fields to the right XDM classes, like customer info goes into profile, interactions go into experience event. Maybe you need B2B classes too, depending on the retailer.
Okay.
Define the critical fields, customer ID, transaction ID, make sure they're consistent. Then, a really crucial step, configure the identity namespaces in the identity graph.
That's for linking profiles.
Yes. Like saying, use email or use eSign to merge profiles that might be fragmented. Finally, validate the whole schema using Adobe's tools like Schema Registry and DULE and test it with sample data. QA is essential.
Makes sense. What about troubleshooting? This sounds like a classic problem. ATI rate limits are hit, data ingestion into AEP starts failing. What do you do?
Oh, yeah, that's a common one. It can definitely feel like a fire drill. First, you diagnose. Check the AEP source connector logs. Are you seeing HTTP 429 errors? Too many requests.
Okay, find the evidence.
Right. Or maybe record counts aren't matching up. Analyze the data flow. How much data is the client actually trying to send? Are they bursting way over the limit, like, say, the typical 5,000 requests per minute cap?
And then mitigation.
For immediate relief, you advise them to implement a retry mechanism on their end, maybe with exponential backoff, and tell them to throttle the data they're sending, maybe cap it at, like, 4,500 requests a minute just to be safe.
That was you some time.
Exactly. Long term, you work with them. Can they modify their pipeline to use batch processing instead of tons of small API calls?
More efficient.
Much more. You could also request an increase in their rate limit from Adobe support, say from 5,000 to 15,000 requests per minute, but you need a solid business justification for that.
Right.
And definitely recommend looking into Adobe's Edge Network for high-volume streaming. It's designed for that. Always validate the fix, maybe simulate peak load, and set up monitoring alerts for the future.
Good breakdown. What if the issue is softer? Like, the dashboards exist, but they aren't actually helping anyone make decisions. Or, oh, you find profiles are merging incorrectly.
Two very different problems there. For dashboards, you need to dig into why they aren't useful. Are they just showing vanity metrics like page views?
Things that look nice but don't mean much.
Yeah. Are they actually tied to the KPIs the leadership cares about? Customer acquisition cost, return on ad spend, that kind of thing. The data needs to be actionable.
So how do you make it actionable?
Focus on telling a story with the data. Add drill downs. If revenue dropped, the dashboard should help you see which campaigns underperformed or which segments stopped buying for incorrect profile merges. That's about debugging the identity graph.
Find the conflicting IDs.
Exactly. Maybe an email address is wrongly linked to an old device ID, an eSign. You need to identify those conflicting keys. Then you can adjust the priority rules in identity service.
Like saying the CRM ID is more trustworthy.
Precisely. Set CRM ID as primary, perhaps. And use the xdm.authenticated state field to give more weight to data from logged-in users versus anonymous cookies. This helps prevent future bad merges.
Okay, let's talk user states. How do you actually track users as they move from anonymous browsing to being logged in authenticated? And what are common mistakes people make in setting up that tracking?
Right. So anonymous users get tracked typically with browser or device IDs, like the eSign, when they log in or identify themselves.
Give their email, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Their primary identity, like email or a CRM ID, is sent via the identity map in the SDK payload. The identity graph then does its magic, stitching that authenticated ID together with the previous anonymous events associated with the device ID. Over time, it builds that unified profile.
And the mistakes.
What goes
wrong? Oh, lots can go wrong. Missing or misconfigured identities are huge that lead straight to fragmented profiles where one customer looks like 5 different people.
Messy data.
Very. Inconsistent schema mapping across different data sources is another big one. Or forgetting consent tagging. If you don't capture consent properly, you might not be able to use the data for activation later.
Ah, critical.
Yeah. And of course, handling PII improperly, not encrypting it, not applying the right governance labels, or just sending way too much noisy, redundant event data that clogs things up.
You mentioned governance labels. How does DLLE data usage labeling and enforcement fit into ensuring proper data governance? That sounds pretty formal. It is formal, and it's absolutely critical for compliance. DULE is how you enforce data usage policies directly within AEP. You apply labels to data fields.
Like this is PII or don't use this for advertising.
Exactly. Contract-based labels for things your legal agreements restrict, identity labels for PII, sensitive data labels for things like precise location. And it's not just labels, it's enforcement.
Oh, so?
Well, for example, if you're building a journey in Adobe Journey Optimizer and you try to use a field marked with a restrictive DUL label in a way that violates the policy, AJ will actually prevent you from publishing that journey. It throws an error.
Wow. So it's a hard stop.
It's a hard stop. It really forces you to think about governance from the very beginning and embed it into your processes.
Okay, that clarifies DLE's role nicely. So thinking about these tools built on AP, let's talk Adobe Journey Optimizer, AJO, Customer Journey Analytics, CJA, and Target. How do they play together?
Right, let's start with AJO, Journey Optimizer. A common question is, when do you use an AJO campaign versus an AJO journey?
Yeah, what's the difference?
Campaigns are generally for more focused one-off communications, like a single blast email for an exclusive pre-order, immediate singular message.
Got it.
Journeys are for more complex, ongoing, real-time engagement. Think a welcome series for new loyalty members that adapts based on whether they make a purchase or open emails. They handle complex logic, branching paths, and continuous interaction.
More dynamic.
Exactly. AJO also uses PQL profile query language for really advanced segmentation. It's like SQL for customer profiles.
Powerful stuff.
Very. And it supports content testing across different channels, web, in-app. It integrates tightly with API-triggered campaigns, too, where you can pass in contextual data for a specific one-off message, though. Remember that 50 kilobatter payload limit for attributes in those API calls.
Good tip on the limit. Okay, what about Customer Journey Analytics, CJA? You mentioned it's about analysis. How does it differ from, say, standard Adobe Analytics?
Great question. CJA is built for a much broader, holistic view. It's designed to analyze customer experiences across all touchpoints, stitching together data sources that traditional web analytics often can't easily handle.
Like call center data or in-store purchases.
Exactly. Call center logs, POS data, IoT interactions. CJA can bring it all together because it sits on top of AEP's data lake. The process is basically 3 steps. Connect your data sets from AEP, build data views where you define the dimensions and metrics you care about, and then explore that data using Analysis Workspace.
Workspace is the analysis tool.
Yeah, with all its flexible components, dimensions, metrics, filters, date ranges. The key difference is that omnichannel scope and the ability to analyze the entire journey, not just the web part, often in near real time.
And rounding out this trio, Adobe Target. Where does it fit?
Target is your go-to for personalization and optimization on the experience delivery side. It's about testing different content, different offers.
A/B testing and things like that.
A/B testing, multivariate testing, rule-based personalization, AI-powered recommendations. It's all about delivering dynamic, tailored experiences in the moment.
So making the website or app change for different users.
Precisely. It allows for that real-time optimization and has visual tools to let you preview and QA your personalization activities, making sure they look right before they go live. So yeah, AEP is the brain, AJO orchestrates the conversation, CJA understands the whole story, and Target fine-tunes the message.
That's a great summary. Okay, we've covered a ton about the role, the text, the problems. Now let's flip it. We talked about questions you might get asked. What about questions you, the candidate, should ask the interviewer?
Yes. Asking smart questions is crucial. It shows you're engaged, thinking strategically, and genuinely interested.
What are some good examples?
You could have something like, from your perspective, what's the secret to being a really successful customer success field engineer here at Adobe? Or maybe, how does Adobe support field engineers in keeping up with the pace of product innovation, especially things like Adobe Sensei AI features?
Shows you're thinking about growth.
Exactly. Personal and professional development within the role.
Any others that maybe dig into the technical side or the team dynamics?
Oh, definitely. You could ask, what's the most complex technical challenge your team has tackled recently with an AEP or AJO implementation? Maybe something around data quality or helping marketers who don't have coding skills use these powerful tools.
Shows you anticipate the real-world hurdles.
Right, or even something a bit more conceptual, like, what's your take when an architect argues that XDM is basically just another relational SQL schema? How do you typically explain Adobe's approach? That shows you understand the nuances.
That's a good one. Shows deeper thinking.
Yeah. And don't hesitate to ask about specific customer success stories that the team is proud of. Or ask how your own background, maybe you worked with the SAP's marketing tech stack before, how that experience might be valuable here.
Makes the conversation.
Exactly. It turns the interview into more of a dialogue and really underlines your commitment to driving customer success, which is what the role is all about.
Wow, okay. What a deep dive, truly. We've really unpacked this customer success field engineer role, looked hard at AEP, navigated some tricky technical scenarios, touched on AJO, CJA, target, and even flipped the script to think about the questions you should be asking.
Yeah, and remember, the goal here wasn't just to give you facts to memorize. It's about understanding how these pieces fit together.
The connections.
Right. The common pitfalls, the strategies for solving problems, and how to talk about solutions in terms of the business value they deliver. Show you're curious, show you can connect those dots.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, getting ready for this?
It means thinking about how you will take these insights, this understanding, and use it, not just to, pass the interview, but to actually envision how you'd help a client transform their digital experiences using Adobe's amazing ecosystem. So go forth and conquer.
Good luck out there, and thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.